of them out there. We're also very pleased, and I just got word officially, we had applied for a grant some time ago to have the amount of money we spend on electricity checked into. And this was a grant by the state and by the federal government. And we were recently told, I don't have paperwork on it yet, but we were told we're getting $50,000, and all the lights in Borough Hall all new fixtures are going to be put in, and this is all free of charge. It's not a matching grant, it's just brand new. And I believe we're getting a new air conditioner for this building. The community center will have all new fixtures in the community center, new thermostats, and the community center is also getting a new air conditioner for out in the back that, does the whole building, and that's big. And the lights that they're going to be doing in the community center are all upstairs and in the basement. And down at the Public Works yard, all of their buildings will have all new light fixtures also. Okay, so we're very happy with that. I think it comes to about $46,000 worth of materials and I guess labor and everything. We do nothing. We'll be meeting with the people who are going to be doing the work, Hutchison and Company, and deciding when would be best for them to come in to do it. And they take care of everything, and the state and the federal government pay for it. We don't have to pay a dime. So that's a that was a good thing that came. We also applied for for 2011 to get money for the school and the firehouse, and we have not heard on that yet, but it's the same type thing. Lights, air conditioners, heating systems, and that one I think is $125,000. So we're very pleased with that, and I'm glad I can say that the one for Borough Hall, the community center, and Public Works is a definite, and that's about $50,000. You ready? Okay, John, back to you.
We're going to get to the end. I thought you guys had it, right? How was it back? So, and I think when we stopped, I think Mr. Sensei wanted to add something regarding the...
John, could you speak into the mic also?
Sorry, the council for the fire company wanted to add...
S5.
I was on, yeah. SS5 is the itemization of what is A9 on page 6, which are the
administrative costs to the fire district. You look at salaries and wages, if you go over to SS5, you'll see what they represent. Now, Mr. Lane asked whether or not the fire company would be performing those items listed under other. Recording secretary, public records clerk, accounts clerk, senior account clerk. The fire company does have a treasurer and a secretary. However, their function is strictly relative to the fire company. It has nothing to do with the payment of public funds to any of the vendors. So these are items that are specific to the district itself. If the district were dissolved, these would be items that would be picked up in the borough's purchasing department. It wouldn't be picked up by the fire company. The fire company requisitions its needs from the district, and the district makes the arrangements to put together the purchase order, go to bid if necessary, get informal quotes. That would all be passed on to the borough through the purchasing department. If you look at the second half, the other expenses relative to the administration of the district, the $26,150.
What page are we on, Mr. Chairman?
Go back to page 6, I'm sorry.
page 6, and then it refers you to SS6. To the other expenses,
So we're on the SF6 has a breakdown of those?
at the top of the page.
Gotcha.
At the $26,150, that's where you find fees for the accountant, the attorney, and the auditor. In addition to that, there are software costs which total approximately $2,400, attributable to things that the district needs, as well as the fire department, which is required by the state for certain reporting. In addition to that, there's office supplies of $1,500 and bank charges of about $300. But that's where you find your professional costs.
In that section that you just said, $47, it takes you to a second appendix, AP4. And that thing says membership and dues, $500, office expenses. Is that an additional $4,200 to the office expense you identified earlier, or is that the same one? On page SS6 appendix, top line administration, it has membership dues $500 and office expense $42. That's the $4,700, right?
AP4.
AP4, which is travel. It says appendix brought forward contingent expenses. That's the same. Right? 4750. Right? Now some of,
Let me just say, I don't believe so.
Yes,
that's the same one, right?
yes,
Okay, now most of the reporting you discussed earlier, is that reporting required because you're a fire district?
yes,
Okay, so if you're not a fire district, the state doesn't require the same reporting of a volunteer fire company as it does for a, volunteer fire company is a nonprofit. And it's a different department than these fire districts, because they're not dealing directly with taxation.
Let me just see if I can answer now. Some of the reporting is required, such as the NIFRS reporting. Otherwise, the fire district or the fire company could never qualify for a state grant or any type of state monies. They do have in here some supplemental fire service monies. That's part of the requirements, okay? And they receive that every year.
Okay, now, still on page 6, moving down, so some of the 43,000 is an area that could be recouped if you don't have a fire district.
Portion of it possibly, but a lot of the expense would be handed off on the district, on the borough, for the requisitioning, purchasing aspect of it.
Now, the next, the 31,200 seems to be insurances for hepatitis, a few other insurance policies, I noted that. Now, in the 177,000, that takes us to SS6, I believe, is that correct? For part of it,
That's correct.
okay. Now, the fire protective service agreement is obviously between the fire district and the fire company,
That's correct.
and that's a direct grant. Okay. But now the 65,589 for maintenance and repairs, is that maintenance and repairs on the trucks?
Where you at, John?
I'm on page SS6 appendix, I'm on the second line, maintenance and repairs.
Okay.
yes. It's for maintenance of the apparatus, for maintenance of the equipment that's on the apparatus that may fail or needs to be regularly maintained as required by either the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, or the New Jersey State Administrative Code on requirements of certification. Also, for annual inspections of SCBH, self-contained breathing apparatus, the breathing apparatus air machine that's in the firehouse, and the pump testing and hose testing that is also required now as a result of the New Jersey Administrative Code ordering the compliance with NFPA.
And that's for all volunteer fire companies, or that's for just districts, both?
Yep.
Both, okay.
Yes.
Now, from the lease, it appears that the fire district owns and has leases on 2 pieces of equipment. Does a district own 2 and the fire company own the other? I think I saw the fire district budget, there's a total of 7 pieces of equipment, only 2 of which are reflected on this budget, is that correct?
The 2 are reflected because there were outstanding indebtedness. One of the vehicles is owned by the fire district, and that was paid off probably about 9 or 10 years ago.
So a total of 3 are owned by the district?
So the district owns 3 vehicles.
But I think in the 65,000, if I saw the right numbers, that 65,000 includes maintenance to all 7 vehicles, is that correct?
All of the apparatus,
And the breathing equipment,
all the apparatus.
so that number would stay the same, assuming the contribution from the borough stayed the same as it was from the fire district, the maintenance and repair would be something that the fire company would have to continue to pay.
In connection with the mobile equipment that the district repairs, there are only 5 fire apparatus,
Only 5?
only 5. 3 pumpers, platform, and the rescue utility, plus the vehicle operated by the fire chief, which is a command post, an incident command center.
That's the way I get the total 7,
No, it's not 7.
but it's 6, okay, 6, because I thought, when I saw 1 through 7.
What?
What?
What's the 7th?
There
There's
is,
only 6, I thought it said 7, okay.
there is not 7.
A 6 then, all right. Now, LoSAP would stay the same regardless of whether or not there's a fire district or fire company that's voted by that's been put in by the voters.
That's
The
correct.
voters
Okay.
approved it for the creation by the fire district, as the sponsoring authority. That would be, you would have to, the borough council would have to decide if they wanted to pick it up or not. And then make arrangements, make plans in their budget
Right.
for it.
Right. Capital leases, now I'm on page 10. The 84,000 seems to be the 2 trucks, is that correct?
Those are the only,
Page 10,
those are the only capital leases that we have.
on the top of page 10, the 84,000,
That's
84,357.
that's the payment for,
And it looks like from
that's not the
page,
interest, that's the principal payment. The interest payments are 22, so it's 107.
total 107. And it looks like one of those finishes July 11th of 2001.
That's correct.
So that would be a reduction,
11.
2011, so 2000, no, it's, the date of approval was 10 years. Okay. So then that would be a savings next year of those, that portion wouldn't occur again next year.
That would be a saving, no matter what.
The borough council wouldn't have to, would only have to assume it for the 1 year, and then next year there could be a reduction.
And if it was, and if the district made, it would be a deduction on the district's budget.
Okay.
It wouldn't need to be raised on the district's budget.
Okay, now, then the next, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Say, the apparatus, yes, will be ending this year. However, the fire company and the fire district do have planning, and they also do have to comply with POSHA and other standards, as we were talking about. And there are several items that, even though on its surface may appear that it would be a savings for next year's budget, in fact, in order for them to comply with the requirements of the state and federal government, they're going to have an additional expense of $47,600. And that's going to be for the SCBA bottles as well as the SCBA bottles.
Let's replace that equipment.
That's the
Self-breathing equipment.
Yes. And that's something that they have no control over. They have to replace this equipment on a periodic basis or whenever the state or federal government updates the standards.
And one other question that I'm gonna go, I don't think everybody has, well, I'm not even asked. On the LoSAP, I just had a question. There was a debit in the audit on the LoSAP. I noted it on, it says there's a due to, on the liabilities in the 2009 audit, which I think everybody had. It says due to LoSAP, $152,000. Is that something that the district hasn't raised and put in? So then I'm at a loss of why it's a liability.
No, I don't have that.
I'm on page 15 of your audit.
I don't think I have the 2009 with me. But,
Yeah, here it is.
there isn't anything outstanding on the website.
Because the audit mentions mutual funds of 124,000, but then as a liability, you issued listed 152. Is that because the 31,000 or whatever, the 42,000 been deposited yet this year? I'm just trying to,
Page 15, Mr. McGill.
15 in there.
Thank you.
It's just in the section on the overall health, I was trying to. Because the asset page is in there too, it says 124 for.
Yes, if you take a look, if you take a look at the way the LoSAP program is set up, it's set up that it does not vest for a period of 5 years. So for the first 5 years, that money remains the district's money for the first 5 years. And then on the after the 5th year, when the firefighter vests, that money then becomes his. So
Earmarked to him, not paid to him, but earmarked to him.
it's earmarked, okay, it's not paid to him,
Right.
okay, but it's earmarked for him. But up until that point, it still remains district money. I would imagine that's what the liability,
It may be. And I'm wondering what happens if people don't vest that money?
if they don't vest, it goes back into the general account. It doesn't stay in the LoSAP account.
Because page 21 reflects
This is
it.
this is a liability though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's what I was trying to figure out why the asset you declare in fiduciary funds, which is 124,000 on page 21, and you don't seem to be declaring it on your asset line, but you do declare the liability for the LoSAP in the liability section.
What are the mutual funds being held for? Andy, what are the mutual funds? Go to page 21. Mr. Miguel,
Yes,
the 124,000 in mutual funds that are set forth as an asset, do you know what they're being held for?
I believe that's in connection with the LoSAP account.
That's what's
I'll tell you
accrued.
I'll tell you very frankly, Councilman Brennan and Mr. Lane, when the auditors go through the records and prepare the documentation, and they send the audit back to the board, and the board reviews it, it then has to be sent to the state, local finance for them to review to see if they have any questions. We haven't received any questions with respect to the outstanding apparent indebtedness of the way the auditors have to put it on their finance reports.
Well, like I said, I see on page 21 here, that you have an asset and a liability,
Yeah.
that seems to zero out, I got that,
Yeah.
that's all listed together on 21. The issue was, you have a liability of 152 on a totally different page
Right.
under your liabilities, and now I understand it correctly, that's it's money that hasn't gone into this LoSAP page 21 yet, because it's money that's been paid in for people who haven't invested yet. So although it's
It's a liability,
it's,
no.
it's a liability they haven't invested yet, so it's on their sheet as a liability, but that 152, 895 is somewhere